Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again. And today, back with another Mercenaries video. So today we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to talk a little bit about why I think going free to play in Mercenaries is the best way to play this game. So this is something that has come up a bunch on my stream and stuff, and generally whenever people ask about spending money or things like that, usually my advice to them is the best way to experience Mercenaries is just not spending any money, going totally free to play, or maybe just getting the whatever it was at the start, the $5 welcome bundle. I think was a pretty good deal. But other than that, I think the best way to play this game is free to play. But I've never really elaborated on that like a whole lot, especially here on YouTube. So I did want to put out a video just kind of giving the reasoning behind that, because we do have new players trickling in every now and then, and so question keeps coming up. So I wanted to kind of get this out there to talk about why I think doing free to play is the best way to play Mercenaries. So the biggest reason why I think that is because right now, obviously, PvE is the biggest part of the game, right? Whether you are playing Mercenaries for the PvE or you're someone who wants to be playing PvP, there is no getting around this. There is no skipping it. There's no avoiding it. Even if you spend thousands upon thousands of dollars, you're gonna have to play some PvE. It's just not possible to avoid it. So the big thing with PvE, and one of the biggest flaws in PvE right now, is the fact that there is no end game to the PvE experience. We did get a little blog telling us that that should be coming later this year. I personally think it's going to be coming around October. I think there's going to be a lot of exciting things in October, but that's a topic for another video. But right now in PvE, there is no end game. Once you go through and you beat all your bounties, you get all the way to Sunken City, you clear them all, you do your heroics, that's it. And you're just going to be running back these bounties to try and get the coins for the mercenaries you need to max them, and so on and so forth. We have just under 100 mercenaries right now, so especially if you're a newer player, that will take quite some time. But the big thing is, it's very doable. And that's something that I don't think gets kind of talked about enough, because you see kind of some of the same complaints from a lot of people who don't even play Mercenaries, but who have gotten a bad impression of the mode due to the very subpar launch that happened last October. And part of the thing with that launch that left such a bad taste in many players' mouths was they didn't even let us try the mode. They had what was, in my opinion, some rather misleading marketing about it. And then they jammed two $50 pre-orders and another $30 one on top of it before we even got really a proper chance to know what we were buying into. And the funny thing about that is, I'm someone who has put a bunch of time and a bunch of money into this mode over time, but when this mode first launched, I did not buy anything of the pre-orders because I felt it wasn't clear what I was getting. I didn't even think I was going to like this mode. I don't know if I've ever talked about that on here, but I didn't think I was going to like Mercenaries, and then I saw the PvP and totally fell in love with it. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I think a lot of people got the impression that because they were selling these very expensive pre-orders, that it was going to be a very expensive mode. And that's kind of a reasonable conclusion to draw, especially if you're a player who already is spending a decent amount of money in normal Hearthstone. Like if we go to the Hearthstone shop here, Hearthstone is not a cheap game if you're someone who likes to have a large variety of decks. It's possible to do free to play and get competitive decks and whatnot, but one thing that is not possible, or I guess it's possible, but it is very, very hard to do, and it takes an absurd amount of time, is you can't really, or most people can't really get a full collection in Hearthstone without spending money. Like here, we can see these are arguably some of their better deals in the shop, where you're getting, what, 50 packs and 2 legendaries for $40. $40, that's a lot of money. And obviously they do have their regular expansion pre-orders, which are usually around similar value and whatnot, but that adds up, especially if you're buying that 3 times a year. It really gets expensive, and I think that's something that turned a lot of people off from Mercenaries was people who are already spending money in Hearthstone, and I know because I was one of these people, I didn't feel like I wanted to sign up for spending another $50, $100, whatever the amount may be, every time they decided to drop new Mercenary stuff. And that became even more apparent when we found out that they were releasing Mercenary stuff every month for the first couple months after release before they changed the release cycle. So that is one of the things where I think they did a very poor job conveying the fact that it is very possible in Mercenaries to get a full maxed out collection in this game without spending a single dollar. And that is awesome. I think that is actually one of the best ways to do it because, unfortunately, as we've talked about before in the past, Mercenaries packs are not worth very much, and we'll see why right now. So I'll just go buy a pack with some gold. We're going to open a pack, and let's see what we get out of it. Boom. All right, coins. And now, looking at all these coins, I have all 5 of these characters maxed. So because of that, this pack, this 100 gold that I just spent, was worthless. I can do nothing with these coins. There is currently no purpose for them. Again, like the PvE, that's something that's coming later, but we've been waiting a while, and right now there is no use for this. So I would have been way better off just saving my 100 gold or putting it into a standard pack where at least if I got cards I already had, I could use them for dust to craft cards I do not have. And this is a huge part of why I do not think it's worth spending money in Mercenaries. Because as long as coins can be useless, the further you progress your collection, the more useless packs are going to be. And that's not a good thing. That's not what you want in your character collecting game. You don't want it to be punishing to open packs the more time and the more effort you have put into maxing your characters. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's really unfortunate that it's like this. And in my opinion, the reason it is like this is because they had to make a lot of duds for basically the ultra whales who are going for skins. Because skins are really the true way they monetize this game. If you are a fan of the skins, which I definitely am, it is really, really hard to get skins if you're just going from packs. Rares, it's not so bad. Rares, you'll actually pretty much get most, if not all of them over time, because how the system works, you're guaranteed to get a rare in every pack, and then once you get all the rares, you'll start getting rare portraits. So even if you're free to play, you'll get rare portraits, but the ones that are harder to get are your epics and your legendaries. And especially if you're going for these diamonds, you have an even smaller chance of getting those. So that is kind of their trick to monetization, is they want the ultra whales to be spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, burning through, I don't know, 50, 100 useless packs before they get that 1 diamond or 2 diamonds or skin that they want. And I really hate that system, and I think it's incredibly predatory. But the beautiful thing is, you do not have to worry about that at all if you just decide, hey, whatever skins I get, but I'm not going for them. I'm not going to just try and open as many packs as I can so I can get that 1 skin I want. And that's actually why I've stopped buying regular packs entirely quite some time ago, because I want the skins. The packs, I'd have to spend way more money than I'm comfortable spending on a game like this, especially given the state of it with some of the bugs that come every single release. I feel like it's just not worth that kind of money to me. So what I end up doing is I will go for these bundles, because then at least I'm guaranteed to get a skin for the character that I want. If it's not a character I want, I know that, and I just skip it. So it makes that process really easy. And if you are someone who isn't going free to play and you do want skins, this is what I recommend to you. This is the way you should do it. You won't be able to do it as quickly because you only get a handful of new offers every week, and the shop does refresh weekly, but it's so much better than buying packs, especially if you're someone who just wants to eventually collect a skin for a certain character, because packs, you have no guarantee. You could open a really cool skin for a character you like, and then you could get another skin for them that you're never going to use, and the odds are effectively the same. So if you are someone looking for skins, if you are going to put money into the game, or that is something you want to do, that's the only way I would really recommend doing it right now. Because frankly, some of these prices are absurd. The fact that, 400 legendary coins here for $10, or even you get 250 for 2 of the pirates here. Like, it takes, I think it's 2,700 coins to max out a mercenary. So you're not even getting 1/10 of the way there. Mind you, you will get some of the coins for the mercenary from doing their tasks, but still, I think the pricing on the coins has always been ridiculous, and it's really just not something I'm a fan of. And there's a benefit to not spending money in this game right now, because the more people who do not spend money, that sends a message of, hey, these prices are ridiculous, and they're going to have to change something if they want more people spending money on the game, which of course they do. So that is one huge thing. Like, I'm never going to be the person who tells someone else how to spend their money. I just want to give people kind of some tips and guidelines here, just so they are effective with it. Because if you aren't effective with it, this game can really drain your wallet. Now, it's not Diablo Immortal, where it's asking thousands, tens of thousands of dollars or something to max a character, but that still doesn't mean it's very cost friendly. So the other big reason why I think it is really, really beneficial to not spend money on the mode is because right now, like we said, there's no end game in PvE. So PvE, unless your sole goal of playing this game is getting to PvP, PvE is way more about the journey than the destination. Because once you do get all your characters maxed up, and I have been at that point before, I'll probably be there again relatively soon if I keep the grinding up, but once you hit that point of having a full max collection, which is the goal for a lot of people who don't even play PvP, a lot of people who enjoy doing the PvE and stuff like that, they enjoy the collection aspect of it. And that's fine. Everyone enjoys the game in different ways. But if you're going to be basically doing the PvE all the time, I think it's important to know that part of the fun is the fact that you are essentially limited, because your rewards in PvE are all about progression. If we look at our bounties here, what are we getting from the bounties? We're getting coins to max out our characters. Well, what do we get when we have all these characters maxed out? The answer is nothing. We get nothing of use. We know eventually that these coins will have some kind of use that probably has something to do with the end game, but we have no idea when that's happening, and we don't really know how useful that's going to be. So for the time being, there is no reward for the player who actually puts in all that time to get all their characters maxed out. The only reward you're getting is, well, you'll have a little bit of a stat bonus, which maybe will help you out a little bit, but unless you're just doing the PvE for fun and not caring about the reward, it's pointless once you have all the maxed, because these coins aren't doing anything for you. So this is something I realized very early on when I created an EU account, because even though I'm much more limited, and there can be some frustrations with that as well, it was actually way more fun playing the PvE, in my opinion, on EU, because I didn't have most or all of the characters maxed out. I had a reason to go and grind a specific bounty that I just didn't have as much of it when I had maxed out all the characters. And so I think that's something that really isn't said enough about the PvE of this mode. Obviously, I am a PvP focused channel. I do want to still do some PvE stuff because it is a very important part of the mode, and I've grown to enjoy it more than I did initially at the launch. But I am always going to be a PvP first person, and that's just what I enjoy about the mode. That's what I think the biggest strength of it is. But you can still be a PvP focused person without spending money on the mode. You can, and I know multiple people who have done this, you can get a full maxed out collection without spending a single dime on mercenaries. And that's really the way to do it, in my opinion. It gives you more value out of doing bounties and actually playing the game. It gives you more value out of, even if you're early on, getting those reward chests in PvP. It just makes the game have a more satisfying gameplay loop, in my opinion. Now, I'm not telling people to not spend money if that's something you want to do. Like I said, this is all just about guidelines, and ultimately, this is just my opinion about the mode. But as someone who's played from launch, and as someone who has spent a bunch of money on the mode because I like the cosmetics and the skins, I really feel like it's worth saying that it just isn't as necessary to spend money in this mode if you want to have everything. Now, it's not going to be given to you for free. You have to put in the time and the work. But even if you wanted to spend money, that only skips so much of it. And until we get that end game, there really isn't that much of a point of skipping it, because unless you're solely trying to just do PvP, there's nothing left for you once you cross that finish line of all the characters maxed. You're just waiting for more characters. And I'm really hoping that the end game will help solve this problem, but we aren't there yet. And in my opinion, we're probably not going to be there for another 4 months. I really think it's going to be around October, around the 1 year anniversary of this mode coming out, that we see those bigger things like PvE endgame and a use to the excess coins. And the great thing is, even if you're a new player, that's a lot of time. And this is one of the things that a lot of players actually liked about them changing the release cycle, is now, since things aren't happening every month, they're happening every 3 or 4 months with a bigger drop. New players or players who have taken a break have more time to catch up. You have more time to grind without having to worry about a new batch of mercs right around the corner. You can focus on the ones that are available. And it's just a good way to do it. Like, I've played a ton in the mode, and I really think if you're interested in getting into it, if you enjoy the PvE already, or if you want to start working towards PvP, if that's your goal, it's very, very obtainable as a free-to-play player. You just need to be willing to put in the time. And that can take a lot of time, but it really depends on what your goals are. And unfortunately, this game doesn't really set goals for you very well outside of your just your quests, right? You'll have that story quest, or we've had some events, or your tasks, and those are fine, and those give you some like mini goals, but ultimately the bigger goals are ones you have to set yourself, working towards a specific PvE comp that'll help you clear the rest of the bounties easier, like the fire comp, or working towards a PvP comp that is strong in the meta and will help you get more coins from the rewards chest and climb the ladder for rewards. So I just kind of wanted to talk about this a bit because I think a lot of people are under the misconception that Mercenaries is a mode you have to shell out all this money for, when in my opinion, I don't really think money is very helpful in this mode. At least not compared to regular Hearthstone in terms of pricing. Like, you would have to spend so much more money to speed along your progress in this mode to get the coins you want, and even then it's all a gamble. You can't even use it for what you want necessarily, like the arcane dust system. So in my opinion, it just isn't worth it. The only reason I spend money on this mode is because I like the skins, and as a content creator, this is essentially my job. So I can justify that. I can get a little tax write-off too for the money that I put into this game, makes it a little less bad. But if I were just someone joining up right now, or if I was just playing this game more casually, or even putting a bunch of time into it but not creating content around it, there's no doubt in my mind I would not be spending money on it, because I don't feel like my money really gets me anything of value. Now, I love the skins. I think the skins are great. If you fall into that boat, if you're someone who really enjoys the skins and you're okay with spending money, heed my advice, avoid the packs, go for the bundles. Also, really huge tip, once you collect all the rare and most of, if not all of the epics, in my opinion, you should start saving your packs, because especially the more mercenaries you start getting to max. As we can see here, I am up to 51 packs. And I'm sure many of you know this by now, but in case there's anyone new who doesn't, you get a pack once you do tasks 16 through 18 for a character chain. Well, we have just under 100 mercenaries now. So if you're just starting up and you basically have 300 packs available without having to spend any money on the game. And you will also be earning coins for the characters at the same time. Now, if we go in the store and we take a look at what they're selling packs for, the biggest bundle they have here for regular packs, they're charging $70 for 60 packs. So you could get 5 times that. So you could essentially get $350 worth of packs for free just by playing the game. And I highly recommend, once you get all the rares and most, if not all, of the epics, save your packs, because your packs will inherently go up in value because they don't have new packs coming into Mercenaries, at least not right now. So you save your packs, and then when the next release comes around, your packs will be greater value because there'll be more new mercenaries, so you don't have to spend money on a new release, and then you can use the packs you got over time to get coins and just unlock the new characters, the new rares, the new epics, the new legendaries, without having to pony up, $40 for a new bundle. So that's what I recommend. It's something I've talked about quite a bit on my stream, but I did want to do something for YouTube because, I mean, just more people see what I put out here, and I think this is a really important thing that people should know more about. So I am going to be doing some more kind of starter guides and whatnot soon. I have some plans for that, because obviously a lot of the guides at this point are kind of outdated, especially with the stranger change and some other things. So I'm going to be working on kind of a new player's introduction guide, as well as some new kind of core comps to work towards as a beginning player, as I did cover this in the past, and a lot of the cores that I showed in the prior video covering that, they're still relevant. I think we just have more of them available now. So look forward to that in the future, but that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about this. I would love to hear in the comments below what your experience with Mercenaries has been like. Are you someone who has been free to play since you started? Are you someone who has spent money on it here or there? Have you spent a lot of money on it? I want to get just a feel for how different players have engaged with this mode, because there's no right or wrong way to do it. Ultimately, you're the one who decides what the best way to do it is and what is, affordable and enjoyable for you. But I wanted to have this out there as kind of a guideline, and just as someone who's put hundreds of hours into this game, these have been my experiences with it, and this is the best way I think you should go about deciding, do I want to spend money? Do I not want to spend money? And how does that impact my experience? So if you have any questions, also feel free to let me know in the comments. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, Do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.